LeBron James ruined Bronny. Bronny should have stayed in college. Bronny should have stayed in school for a little bit longer. He's not ready to be in the NBA. And I blame LeBron James for that. And you could throw in Rich Paul and Clutch Sports, throw them in the mix. Bronny looks like he was just going to go off whatever anybody told him. Oh, it's time to go to the NBA? Cool. Let's go to the NBA. Should I stay in college? All right, cool. I'll stay in college. So he's all over the place, and he just listened to his representation, Rich Paul, and his father, LeBron James. But I put mostly the blame on LeBron just because he wants to play on the same team as his son. Wants to look on the other side of the court and see his son in that Lakers uniform. LeBron James, this is his 22nd season, and he knows that the time is ending as far as his NBA career. But what better way to end his career than to be on the same team as Bronny, have his son on the court? Again, that's a great feeling, I'm sure. He looked like he was kind of a loss for words, being on the same team as his son Bronny, being on that court. But Bronny should have really been in school right now. As we can all see by now, Bronny isn't ready to be in the NBA. Not saying that he won't have any good moments out there, but it's all about consistency. Bronny James isn't consistent out there. He has ways to go. And it could be even worse for him in the G League, where you got a lot of hungry players out there that are trying to make it up to the NBA roster. So if you're Bronny, best of luck to you. You have a lot of work to do. I'm not saying that he can't be in the NBA or it can never happen, but as far as him being on the court consistently, playing meaningful minutes, it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. So if you're LeBron, I think you put a lot of pressure on Bronny to not only make it to the NBA, a lot of comments that LeBron made previously, that his son could play on the Lakers, and based off what he's seeing on League Pass, his son is ready to go in the NBA. I think it's obvious, LeBron was just speaking as a father. You're going to hype up your kids. Your kid is the greatest player ever, but realistically, Bronny James, nowhere close to being an NBA level pro. He has work to do again. Maybe the G League can help Bronny out, but right now it's just looking terrible for Bronny. The whole media is talking about him. ESPN, they even turned their back on LeBron by writing an article about Bronny James being set up for failure, questioning Rich Paul. So it's just a lot of stuff going on with Bronny. And again, man, I'm rooting for him. Just as far as the underdog story, whenever there's an underdog, I want them to do great. But just with Bronny James, it's just different when you're playing a sport where you got hungry people out there that are trying to make it and make it to an NBA roster. But with Bronny, he just seems like he's just floating out there. He doesn't seem like he's locked in. Bronny James is just overly passive, not dribbling the ball at the court. Whenever they're dribbling the ball at the court, he's just running to the three-point line. So he needs more aggressiveness. He needs to be going to the basket. Use that athleticism. One thing about Bronny, he's 6'2", 210. He's stocky. So point guard-wise, solid height, but just his mentality is off. He needs to be initiating the offense. He needs to be scoring more efficiently. If you're just going to shoot threes, at least shoot 35 to 40%. And defensively, that may be the only thing that Bronny James has a chance to be good at. But just based off the footage, he has a lot of work to do on the defensive end as well. JJ Redick, he's not going to bash him in front of the media. He's kind of saying that, he likes how Bronny handles himself. It's a pleasure working with him. All that's great, but hopefully behind the scenes, JJ's being honest with him. Same thing with LeBron, same thing with Rich Paul. You got to be honest with Bronny. You can't just lead him astray and just be like, okay, things are all great. You're going to get it. Maybe so, but just make sure he's watching that game footage on what he needs to do, on what he can do better. But LeBron James, man, you definitely messed up by pushing Bronny to go to the NBA, knowing that he isn't ready, knowing that he needed a few years of college left. If USC wasn't working out, let him transfer schools. He could have went to another school. There were a lot more things Bronny could have did instead of going to the NBA right now. But I get it. LeBron James' time is running out in the NBA, and he wanted to be on the same team as his son. I respect it, but at the same time, things could have been handled better if you're LeBron James and Bronny. So we'll see what happens moving forward with this upcoming season. Still got some preseason games left. Maybe Bronny can put together a few decent preseason games, but it's all going to be about the G League with Bronny for his development. Like, subscribe, comment. Do you think LeBron James ruined Bronny? I want to know your thoughts about this. Like, subscribe, comment. Peace.